So, Halls of Torment has released into 1.0, and in this video we're going to be going through if I believe it's worth playing the game or not. And I don't know why, but I never got round to playing this in early access, which was a surprise even for me, because I've played a lot of survivor-based games. Vampire Survivors, Soulstone Survivors, Crab Champions, like there's loads and loads of them that I have played. But seeing that Halls of Torment launched into 1.0, I thought now is my time to grab it. Literally a few quid on Steam, and it's had really good reviews. So I bought the game, got it installed, jumped on it, and wow. This game will start you off with a single character. You have just your basic sword, and is very similar to a game like Vampire Survivors. You are on a 30-minute timer. You will have different waves of enemies coming at you. You'll have bosses. There will be chests to open up that can give you like gear items. For an example, you might get a ring that will give you 10% extra damage or something like that. And there are so many different achievements and stuff in this game, dealing like 750,000 damage with a certain ability that you might get. Because as well as the chests that give you gear items, you also get these, what I'm going to call scrolls, and they will give you an ability. Like you might get lightning strikes, you might get these orbs that spin around you. And every time you level up, you get to improve one of your stats. You might get extra health, you might get extra damage, crit chance, crit bonus, which is basically your critical hit damage. And after you have completed a run, whether that is successfully or if you have died before the 30 minutes are up, you will go back to the hub where you can spend the gold that you find on your runs in a shop, which is going to give you like permanent stat upgrades. And typically, providing you haven't died within like the first 5 seconds after your first run or two, you are going to unlock some new characters. Because as well as everything I've mentioned, there are also quests and stuff in this game as well. The quests are basically like the dealing 750,000 damage with a certain ability. They will give you all sorts of different rewards. But it's not just that this is like Vampire Survivors, it's kind of got like an old school Diablo vibe to it as well. And that's in terms of how it looks, the enemy types and things like that. And I'm just going to say it straight up, this is such a good game. It's literally a few quid on Steam, and there is so much replayability. I would say it's actually a mistake to not grab this game, especially now that it's gone through all of its early access. It's in 1.0. It's got a bunch of different content. Like, there's so much to this game. I reckon for like the £3 odd it costs or whatever, I reckon you're going to get at least like 20-30 hours out of this game. And I mean, it can last way longer, it just depends how much you want to play it. And it's not just that you've got bosses and chests and things like that, you've also got different areas that you can play, like essentially different maps you can play on. And on top of all of that, you have accessibility options. You've got like auto aim, you've got auto attack. There are things that have been put in the game to make it like a lot easier for the player. And the way I was playing this game was to have auto attack on, but have aiming manual. So it wasn't aiming at the closest enemy to me. I was doing all of the aiming manually. You can change all the reticle and the colour of it and stuff in this game as well, so that it's easier to see. But I had it on so that it was automatically attacking, so I didn't have to worry about any of that. And I just really like the way they have set this game up. It's very easy to understand. I would say it's a little bit more on the forgiving side because you can very easily build up certain stats. Like, I basically focus on damage all the time. I do spend a little bit of time upgrading my health. Like, I might take 1 or 2 base health upgrades and stuff. Maybe a little bit of regeneration as well. But my main focus in a build is to go pretty much all out damage. Wherever I can get the highest damage increase is going to be where I'm putting my points. But I do it a little bit more strategically as well, because if I've got a brand new weapon or an ability or something like that, and say it's dealing 60 damage and there's an opportunity to get 20% extra, or I've got my main weapon which is dealing way more damage and I can get a 10% extra increase, I'm going to take the 10% bonus to my main weapon, because it's all about getting the highest damage numbers you possibly can to deal with the enemies as quick as you can. Because some of the waves in the game can be incredibly overwhelming if you don't have the right stuff put together in your build. So say for an example you focus just on movement speed, yeah, you're going to be able to avoid a lot of the enemies until you get to a wave where they overrun you and they come at you from all different angles. And then because you put so many points into movement speed and barely any into the damage, you're going to be taking a lot of hits because you're going to be able to move fast, but you're going to get hit guaranteed because your damage won't be high enough to deal with the enemies as quick as you need to. So to answer the question, do I believe Halls of Torment is worth playing? It's a no-brainer, absolute no-brainer, 100%. I would say get on Steam, grab this game, jump into it, and you are very easily going to lose track of time. As I said, there's so much replayability, it's nice and easy to get into, there's a lot of different weapons, upgrades, abilities, different characters and stuff, shop upgrades, the list goes on. So yes, I do believe Halls of Torment is worth playing, and what we are going to do is leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about this game in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.